It wasn't much, then again none of us really expected much, so Kawhi Leonard's departure note to the fans of the San Antonio Spurs was neither here nor there when it dropped the night before last. Get used to it, folks. Newly acquired Raptors star Kawhi Leonard isn't much of a talker, dare innovate, the Canadian press. If there's one thing basically guaranteed for this coming season, and who knows past that, it's that, and by extension you, aren't going to get a lot of insight into what makes him tick, certainly no long soliloquies and doubtfully any delivering of deepest held convictions. He's not going to stand there after every game and dissect his or his team's play. I don't imagine he'll talk to us on many, if any, off days. It's not his style. Never has been, never will be. And who cares? Yeah, we'll try to figure out what makes him tick, what he likes, doesn't like, what drives him and what turns him off, but it cannot be a day-by-day breakdown of moods, etc. That's silly and will only foster a level of either mistrust or frustration, and that's counterproductive for anyone. He'll chat every now and then and it might be cliched and boring and trite, but that's the way it's going to be. Article continued below. Won't change him. We'll probably never know, and this season cannot be a constant examination of every utterance to see what it means for July. I can't presume to know, Leonard. None of us here can. We've been around him, at best, 2 games a season, learned about him through the prism of others, and a couple of us have dealt with the Spurs at a few NBA finals. Get today's top sports stories in your inbox. For headlines from the Stars award-winning sports journalists, sign up for our daily sports newsletter. Now, I do fully expect the Raptors will make him do one introductory session with media, undoubtedly in a controlled environment with him flanked by Masai and Nick Nurse, and that could yield some insight. But not a lot. And there is no way we're going to dissect every nuance of his actions to determine what next July might bring, so don't expect that. It's futile and will only lead to a level of distrust and non-communication that serves no purpose, for anyone. Truth be told, we've been stunningly lucky here over years. Every significant player in franchise history, dating back to Damon Stoudemire and running right through DeMar DeRozan, have been great with the media. Article continued below. Stoudemire to Vince Carter to Chris Bosh to DeRozan, all of them spoke to us basically any time we needed anything, and that's an exception rather than a rule around the NBA. May not have said much some days, but they stood there and said it. I bet there haven't been 20 times in 23 years when the team's best player has absolutely refused to answer a question if one needed to be posed. Hell, Bosh and DeRozan each won the PBWA's Magic Johnson Award, given to the player who best combines interaction with media and fans along with exemplary on-court performance. It's a big deal and we're pretty lucky to have dealt with them on a daily basis. So, Leonard won't be like that. Yeah, some might see it as maddening, and I'm sure there will be moments of frustration among those of us who cover the team. But it's also not new. It's how he is and how he's been, and his rather bland statement cannot possibly been a surprise. Yeah, we could sure use some questions to beef up the weekend mailbag, folks. I know there haven't been many gentle reminders since we're on a limited schedule here, but if you could help fill her up for Sunday, it'd be appreciated. Click on over at ask.thestar.ca and we'll do what we do. And do it well. Way back when I was just a youth killing time figuring out that great life plan, I found myself laid low by a particular gruesome bout of mononucleosis. At least I milked it for all it was worth. That cost me both my grade 13 and grade 14 years. Well, mono and an aversion to actually going to class because it was boring the second time around. One of the benefits. I spent a huge chunk of the Watergate hearings and fallout glued to the TV, became a big fan of Senator Sam Ervin, smiled knowingly when I landed at Honolulu's Daniel Inouye Airport and could tell John Dean from Haldeman and Ehrlichman. Fun times. But, holy crap, I cannot believe it's 44 years ago yesterday. 44 years, that tricky dick took that stroll to the helicopter and got out of the way permanently. Watching, you knew you were witnessing history throughout the entire process, the once-in-a-lifetime prospect of a sitting president leaving in disgrace. Or was it once in a lifetime? So, fall NBA schedule is out today. Breathless anticipation awaits the 4 p.m. announcement, I am sure, and on a personal level there are only 5 things I really care about. Will they bundle the 2 LA road games with one at Golden State to get rid of the California Biggies in one fell swoop? How many day games are there? Because not dealing with deadlines is a good thing. When do the Spurs come here and when do we go to San Antonio? When do we get to write our Dwayne Casey appreciation pieces? Here or in Detroit? How far might I have to fly on Christmas Day, if indeed I have to fly at all? Other than that, I presume there'll be 41 at home, 41 on the road, and they'll all get played. Doug Smith is a sports reporter based in Toronto. Follow him on Twitter, @Smith.